Hi all, shall we start? Right. So yes, just give me 1 second. Right, let's get started. So guys, we have completed lesson number 15, which is our financial management. So what is our next lesson? Lesson number 16, human resource management. So what I'll do is I'll skip that lesson, then I'll come to the lesson number 17, business information system. So compared to lesson number 16, මේක අපිට ටිකක් කලින් කරගන්න පුළුවන් නිසා I thought of start it and finish it off and then go back to lesson number 16. Correct? Right. So talking about your tudes, papers and marking schemes, all I have posted, but there's a delay because the post office, they work on 2 days, which is I think only Tuesday and Thursday or some other day. So it's a body delay. Surely you'll get it, and probably within this week, some other Wednesday, let me know, right? A tube set financial management tube which is 15.0. And also this lesson 17.0 in a business information system all the papers that we discussed. Paper class papers refer and also a couple of I think 10 model papers also will be there, which we'll be starting the discussion in a paper class. So then I think for the paper class also, the physical class we are having, I think moving forward to some sort of extent we have to do online because of the situation. And I'll let you know when we start the classes as LIT. Well, so that's the update from my end. So guys, I have also shared the soft copy through the chat. So just check your chat. If you're unable to find it, let me know so then I can again reset. So open that as well. So we'll be starting your lesson number 17, business information system. Well, okay, so I think for those who joined right just now, let me share it again. Guys, please make sure you complete your notes once you receive the hard copies. Right. So I'll share my screen as well. Yeah, so let's see the content of this lesson. And let me share this one thing as well. If you do not plan, now plan ගිහිල්ලා කතා කරමු. නමුත් ඔයා දන්නා මේක lesson number 17 නේ. ඒ කිව්වොත් 17 18 අනිවාර්යෙන්ම මේ lessons දෙකේ part 2 paper එකේ කොතනද ප්‍රශ්න එන්නේ? question number 8. එතකොට ඔයාගේ paper එකේම තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න 8යිනේ. So I'm talking about the part 2. The part 2 will be having two parts or the two sections, I would say. So which is you'll be having the 8 question. So ගොඩක් වෙලාවට question number 8 එකේ තමයි second paper එකේ මේක rest කරන්නේ. ඒතකොට ඔයාලට plan එකක් කියන්න ඕනේ මොන වගේ question ද ඔයා answer කරන්නේ. If you are planning to do question number 8, so surely you need to study well this. හැබැයි එහෙම කියලා ඔයාලට මේක නෑ මම question number 8 කරන්නේ නෑ. මම මේක පාඩම අතාරිනවා කියලා එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. මොකද අනිවාර්යෙන්ම හැම අවුරුද්දකම වගේ last question එක නැත්නම් MCQ 30th question නැත්නම් MCQ 29th question ගොඩක් ලාට මේ lesson එකකින් අහලා තියෙනවා සහ fill in the blanks සහ අනිත් එක short answers වලින් අහන්න පුළුවන්. Right? එනිසා part 2 එකට අදාළ වෙන්නේ if you are planning to face for the question number 8. If not, so you will have to answer for the MCQs and those stuff. So we'll be highlighting what sort of things they will be tested as MCQs and all. So then you also get the pattern and what sort of things that you need to focus and study. Right. So let's get started. I'll be mainly doing by sharing the screen since you don't have the tutor as well. Yeah. So let me first go through the content of this one because you might think why we have to study IT. We have selected commerce stream, but today is all about information system. Today, we are in the information era. Can you remember the 4 business stages that we discussed, right? So, which is starting from the goods and the barter system or the goods exchange, and then we move to the usage of money and industrial revolution, and then information era, the information communication technology. Right, so all the businesses nowadays based on ICT. So that's what we need to have some sort of knowledge when we come to our IT skills. So this is not mainly to give you some idea about the IT skills, but so what sort of a system, so how the IT function helps to the business. As you know, the functional areas, which is financial managers help the business, HR managers, operation management. So likewise, the IT team or the IT departments, how they try to help you in terms of achieving your business objectives. Well, right now the first one is about the data and the types of data you will be studying in this part, especially the how data comes. For example, I would say there could be some visual data, right? For example, that you will be showing some prices along with your products. That will be some visual data. Something could be some audio data, right? For example, then call centers call this call will be recorded for training and quality assurance purposes. Audio data. Call center agent connect customer connect help කරන්න සහ what sort of things customers are requiring. So audio data, visual data, pictorial data, ඔය විදිහට අපිට set of data ගන්න පුළුවන්. So then we will be discussing what is information. So it's basically once you process the data and through any kind of process, and there are differences between data and information. So that part also will be studied, and especially the data processing steps, right? Which is input, process, output that we know already. So input as your data and the process, and finally output that you get as your information. And then this is how about you process. So we can data processing system, data processing technology can be thanks to the manual system එකක් නේද? ආගේ ඔක්කොම manually record කරනවා. අපිට දැන් සමහර ස්කූල් වල attendance වගේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ස්කූල් term test marks වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔක්කොම manual system එකක papers වල files වල save කරනවා. නේද? සමහරට හැම student කෙනෙක්ටම file එකක් maintain කරනවා. ඒතර ඒක manually they do, right? ඒක hard file එකක්. එතකොට සමහරට වාගේ date of birth certificate එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ආගේ school admission certificate එක. ඉතින් ওই විදිහට each and every student they are maintaining a personal file. So that's something they do manually. ඉතින් ඒකම කරන්න පුළුවන් in a software, in a computer, where they will save a folder, in a folder for each student, and save all the relevant documents in a soft copy. So that's what. So how we started from a manual system, so then go to semi-manual, electromechanical system, electronic systems, which is nowadays they are using. Characteristics of information characteristics. It should be something that we can rely on. It should be something we can trust. right? Should be something understandable. It should be timely manner. Information outdated. So timely relevant. Well, so that sort of things will be studied. And then this is again one important area, the classification of information. So we'll be classifying according to the source, according to the nature, according to the level of management. So likewise, how we can classify information based on different criteria. That part also will be doing. Well, then only we'll be coming to the information system. So what I'm trying to plan today is to cover up to this point. So let's see how it goes. Well, so coming to data, guys, it's the basic facts. For example, I will start with. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 to 6 students join now. What I'll do is, I can ask you about what I need to ask, right? Wait, yes, I can ask you height, or maybe let's say if in case if you face for any school term test exams, so I would ask what is your score marks when you come to our last term test. So you'll be coming with the numbers. So but is that really gonna help for me to understand the overall performance of the students? No, it's just some raw data, some raw set of factors and figures. Well, so then only I need to convert into a process by using a process. So then come up with a set of information. So for example, by collecting your last term test exam results of the schools, so then I will be able to calculate the maximum number of the score, the marks that you have obtained, and the lowest, and also the average number. So then I can get an idea about it. Yeah. And also that especially, so for some cases in our syllabus, we have referred to central bank report as well. So the data collection part be done by the Department of Census and Statistics, Janaha Sankhya department. So they collect data and provide those data to the central bank. So they will be processing. For example, so they will be going and collecting the information about the agriculture. I'm just try to relevant it to your syllabus, because then every time someone explaining about data and information, they all get some sort of basic examples. But let me start it like that. So they'll be asking set of farmers, right, about their value addition or their total output, right? So someone say, so I contributed this much, for example, 100,000, 500,000. Now let's say the paddy field, right? So maybe rubber or tea. So 750 likewise. So by using these data, what they do, right? They calculate the contribution from the agriculture sector to the total economy. And they are saying it's 8%. Now I would say this is set of data. And now this is an information. What is this information? Says contribution to the gross domestic product of the country. Contribution from the agricultural sector is just 8%. So now this is something that we can use to take a decision. So then we will be able to compare with it. Okay, last time contribution 7.5, so it's a slightly increased. Or last time it was 9%, so now this 8%. And then now we can see, so how the other sectors have contributed for that? Well, so it says around 56% contribution from service sector, right? Now let's say nearly 60%, right? And around 24% from the industries. So we have collected data from industrial sector. We have collected information from the service sector. So now for those data you have processed and you have calculated the gross domestic product. So by calculating everything, you get the number here. Now it's, let's say, around $80 billion. Right? Samane Lankave GDP kane billion 80ක් විතර. රුපියල් නෙන්නේ ඩොලර් වලින් කියුවොත් ලේසි. 80 ඩොලර් බිලියන 80ක් වගේ තමයි. So එහෙනම් මේ තියෙන information එකක්. They are collected data information. තව example එකක් කියන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට මම දැන් ළඟදී ආවද කියලා අර ගෙවල් වල දෙනවා නේද? මේ ජන සංගණන කියලා අපි කියන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ population එක කැල් කරන්න එනවා. මම හිතන්නේ අන්තිමටම තිබුණා 2000 not much exactly remember. කොහමද මීට අවුරුදු කීපයකට කලින් population එක ගණනය කරන්නේ. දැන් කොච්චරක් තියෙනවද ලංකාවේ population එක? If I ask a question, Sri Lanka's population, latest figure, what do you think, guys? Population of our country? Yes, 22 billion. 21.1 වගේ වෙලා තියෙනවා නේද? කලින් තිබ්බේ 21.9. Right? 21.9 then 22 exceed කළා තියෙනවා. අපි just say 22 million. I think all විතර හැම ගෙදරකින්ම count එකක් අරගෙන මේක not exact figure. හරි. දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා based on that data they are telling the average income per person. නැත්නම් අපි කියන්නේ GDP per capita. නේද? ඒගොල්ලෝ මොනවද කරන්නේ? මේ total GDP එක බෙදනවා average population එකේ. average mid year population එකේ. මෙන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා per year income එක කියලා. එතන මේක නම් දැන් below 4000 4000 exceed කරලා තිබ්බ දැන් ඒක ආපහු වඩිලා I mean $4,000 දැන් ඒකත් අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. rupees වලින් ගත්තොත් 20 වල around 600,000 හැබැයි මේ අවුරුද්ද ටිකක් වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා 700,000 ගානක් වගේ තියෙනවා if you refer the latest CBS report. So so that's thing, right? It's something that we can make a decision and we'll be able to compare based on that information. Somehow you'll be collecting data from different sectors, different sources, and then you will be processing it by using different calculations, formulas, right, charts. So then you will be able to come up with the information which you will be able to make a decisions out of it. Well, that also you can simply apply to accounting as well. In accounting, you have the input, your data, your transactions and events. Now for example, I'm saying sales, right? Sales worth of 50,000. So just data or input for the accounting process. Then you will be processing it that, right? You'll be recording in the relevant prime entry books. You'll be recording in the your general journal. Then you'll be preparing your financial statement. Then you will be able to make a decision out of it. Then you can say the operating profit, you can say the gross profit or the net profit, operating expenses. Then you can calculate so many ratios, calculations. That's what we did in last lesson. So then those will help for you to make a decision. So then it's really important that we have information. One last example. දැන් ආපහු මේ දවස්වල නේද කොවිඩ් ගැන කතා වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ආයි මාස්ක් දාන්න කියනවා. ඉතින් ඒකෙත් මොනවද කියන්නේ නේද? They also collect data. නේද? එකකන කොච්චර අද දවසේ positive cases හම්බුණාද? කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ level එක කියලා. Based on that they will try to predict. So they say all the information and also information related to vaccination program. So they will be collecting data. එක MOH areas වල කවුද vaccines කොච්චරක් ලබා දුන්නාද? ඒ ඔක්කොම එකතු කරලා ඒගොල්ලෝ cumulative figures අරගෙන. So then we'll be able to say okay out of ඒ කාලයක් කිව්ව නේද? Above 65 90% vaccinated. So then like 50 to 65 ඊට පස්සේ about 20 ඒ විදිහට දැන් අපව මතනේ ඊට අවුරුදු 16 වගේ ළමයිට දුන්නා ඊට අඩු. ඒකලා මෙන්න මේ range එකේ right 90% vaccinated කරලා. So then something you can make a decision out. අතට කියන හරිය දැන් එන පොඩ්ඩක් COVID rules and regulation relax කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද out of the population මෙන්න මේ percentage එකක් අනිවාර්යෙන්ම vaccinate වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ විදිහට you collect data factors and figures, then you somehow convert and get information which is really helpful for you to make decisions. So how this relate to the business is that, as the managers, you'll be making decision. You could be the manager, it could be the owner of the business who will be handling everything. So for you to make decision, you need to have the latest information. The decision making process obtaining information. Now, make information which is something should be reliable, something up to date. And what මතකයි දවසල කිව්වා මේ COVID සම්බන්ධයෙන් මොන හරි system එකක් තිබුණොත් ලේසි. එහෙනම් up to date information එහෙනම් for the health sector expert, it's really helpful for them to make the correct decision. නේද? ඒ දවස්වල නම් මොනවාද school open කරනවද නැද්ද, curfew අයින් කරනවද නැද්ද කියන එක ගැන decide කරන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ට latest information තියෙනවා. If you are taking decision by outdated information, so then you will be end up with not the most correct decision. I think maybe that information plays a major role when it comes to business decision, the success of the business. So that is why people are more focusing on that. So that's sort of a quick explanation about data and the process and information. So from that, let's move forward with the rest of the things. Right. So we have a small explanation for the data here. So shall we go through that? Basic facts. Basic facts and numbers generated. Basic facts and numbers generated by various events. So I talk about various events, right? Something like Sri Lanka's population calculation, collecting data regarding vaccination process, collecting data across multiple sectors in the economy, namely agriculture, industrial, and services. So those are events take place. So likewise, in the business environment also these events take place. So the basic facts and numbers generated by various events that take place in the environment or in the organization and by business transaction. So it could be business transaction, which is you mainly record in our accounting process. It could be something happen in your internal business environment. Something like you mark the attendance of your employees, you count the leaves that they are taking. So then out of that, it will be, and to be something, maybe the employee turnover, the number of employees left the organization during a period. So then you'll be able to make a decision. Okay, now our attrition is high, which is the labor turnover. So then you need to quickly make a decision. Why is that? What is the reason behind that? Or is there something regarding salary and wages? Is there something related to working conditions or the working environment? So because the collected fact, once you convert it, says a high percentage. So employee turnover has been increased in the past couple of months. So something related to internal business environment. And could something happen in external environment as well? Something like inflation, right? So somehow it will be about the basics, facts, and numbers. Well, guys, shall we write a couple of examples? I have this one. I know that you don't have the tube right now, but shall we use a piece of paper? Maybe once you get it, you can attach it or you can rewrite. So just let me show some example. Now, when you write example, do not write now height, weight. So those are like quite basics thing. පොඩි කාලේ නම් ලියලා examples use කරන්න එපා. Try to write ඒක වැරදක් නැහැ, but try to make it relevant for your areas of study. Well, so let me share the content. Okay, so now when you ask for data, so write the data that you are using, right, for business purposes. Think from the businessman point of view. So the name of the employees, the salary of an employee is the data. The time that the transaction took place, the value of the one transaction or one single transaction, your monthly electricity bill, your monthly internet bill, all your utility bills. So That sort of a thing when it comes to business data. Shall we write? Now, by just looking at one monthly bill, can you make a decision about that? Surely, then when I receive my electricity bill, I definitely check. ගිය මාසේ කීයක් තිබුණාද? I definitely ask that question. So then I will be able to say, වැඩි වෙලාද units ගාන කොච්චරක් ගිහිල්ලාද? Surely I'll check that. නැත්නම් ඒක මට මතක ගිය මාසේ මෙච්චරක් තිබුණා. මේ මාසේ ඇයි වැඩි වෙලාද? So I need to check. Correct? Right. ඒ වගේම employee කෙනෙක් නම් කොච්චර salaries ගෙවුවද ගිය මාසේ ඔක්කොම employees ලාට. එහෙනම් එක්කෙනෙක්ගේ salary එකකින් you can make a decision. So you get the total head count and the total salary bill for you as an employer. ඒතරාට බලන්න ගිය මාසේ salary cost එක වැඩි මේ මාසේ අඩුයි. So then all you will be able to compare decision. So this is all about single transaction, single data. Well, shall we write the name, salary of an employee, the time that the transaction took place. And also, for example, a call center. Call center එක call එකකට කොච්චර time එකක් consume කළාද ඒ customer ට assist කරන්න. එතකොට එහෙනම් ඔයාලට information නම් ඔයාලට maybe average time එක ගන්න වෙනවා. ඒක maximum minimum time එහෙම නැත්නම් එක single call එකක time එක මෙච්චරක් ගියා කිව්වොත් ඔයාලට ඒකෙන් කිසිම decision එකකට එන්න බෑ. Right? So you have to somehow process the available data by using different formulas, different methods, which is relevant to obtain your objectives. Right, guys. So shall we complete that? Shall we write example for data? Right, student. Now we are going to classify the data. Now data කියන එක අපි classify කරන්න යන්නේ. හරි, so up to now you have like 4 categories. මෙන්න අහන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රශ්නයක්. දැන් මම ඔයාලට එක පොඩි tip එකක් දෙන්න යන්නේ. exam tip එකක්. මොකක්ද දන්නවද? ඔයා දන්නවා ඔයාගේ question number 41 to 50. ඔයාගේ exam එකේ BS paper එකේ මට කියන්නේ question number 41 to 50. So I'm talking about the part 1 paper. මොනවද අහන්නේ? part 1 paper question number 41 to 50 තියෙන්නේ short answers. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ short answers වල ඔයාලට answers 4ක් තමයි ලියන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඔයාලට එක මේ විදිහට 1 2 3 4 දාලා ඒකල දෙනවා. අපි හිතමු example එකකදී question number 42 කියලා. ඔය විදිහට. එතකොට ආට පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න ඔය වගේ සමහර ක්ලාසිෆිකේෂන් තියෙන හතර බෙදෙන දේවල්. දැන් ඔන්න හොඳ එක්සැම්පල් එකක්. types of data හතරයි තියෙන්නේ. ගාන්ට ඒ question එක fit වෙනවා මෙතනට. එහෙනම් exam එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. write four types of data. හරි එහෙනම් question එකත් මෙතන point හතරයි types of data හතරයි. හරි. අන්න ඒ වගේ පොඩ්ඩක් idea එකක් තියාගන්න අවශ්‍ය විදිහට දැන් බෙදෙන ඒවා තියෙනවා. right? හරි උන්නේ එහෙනම් එතන ඔයාලට පුළුවන් star mark එකක් දාන්න. So next subtopic types of data. Right? Shall we write a subtopic types of data. Types of data. හරි දැන් අපි කියවනේ මේ විදිහට collect කර ගන්නවා කියලා across multiple sectors, across maybe the business transactions, right? Some things related to expense. ඉතින් මෙන්න මේ විදිහට collect කර ගන්න data අපි කොටස් හතරකට බෙදන්න පුළුවන්. And the first එක අපි කියනවා pictorial data. එහෙම නැත්නම් you collect photographs, so it's about the photos in our collecting photos. අපිට මොනවාරි ඔයාගේ product ඔක්කොම photos ගාලා තියෙනවා. Right? So that we can say it's a pictorial data, right? Photographs of the goods for an example. Yeah. And then we can go to some numerical data. මොනවාද මේ numerical data කියලා කියන්නේ? So it's all with numbers. For example, applicant prices of goods, the cost of a good, selling price of a good, profit of one good. එහෙනම් මේක numerical form එකකින් කියනවා. මෙතන not qualitative factor, something quantitative. ඒ විදිහට audio data තියෙනවා. අපි මේක analog sound එකක් නැත්නම් audio clip එකක් මම අර කිව්වා වගේ recording of a consumer feedback, recording of a consumer idea, right? Just one single idea, audio data. Visual data, sometimes that you try to showcase the prices, right? To showcase the prices of the available goods that you are trying to sell. It's something that you know display, or it's something that through charts, graphs, or maps. So that sort of things comes as a visual layer. Now here are the four types. Shall we write just the four types? You don't have to write the explanation, and then just write one single example in front of that. Okay. Yes. So four types of data. Here's the one example for each. So we need to write here types of data. So definitely this will work as short note for you as well. Types of data. Now you might have a question, is there any difference between pictorial data and visual data? Yes. So pictorial is all about pictures or maybe some symbol of a different objects. But visual data, when it comes, it's about the graphical representation of the data, right? Like charts, graphs, and maps, or maybe that you are preparing. So that's the difference. So pictorial is all about photos, pictures. Well, so guys, moving to our next part, talking about information. හරි එහෙනම් ඔයාලා දන්නා මොනවද data කියලා කියන්නේ සහ types of data. දැන් අපි බලමු කොහොමද informations collect කරන්නේ කියලා. Information the process data. The process data which is understandable is called as information. Now look here. So we do have data in terms of four types. Could be pictorial, could be audio, right? Could be visual data, could be numerical data. A different process. So that is depend on the business function, that is depend on the areas of work that you do. And then you have the process data, right? Another word for information here. Your output is information. Another word I would say process data, right? Process data. I would say information or else process data. Well, now look here, now I'm taking a very simple explanation here. Now, just get the sales of your business. Now, let's say your financial year start with Jan to December, right? Right. So your financial year start with Jan to December. Now let's say we are in the month of July now. So we are still have some days for July. So I'll take the month of June. 2022 month of June, your sales income, let's say you are doing in some consultation work. Get in the putting consultation foreign exchange which is good thing. So you provide some consultation in terms of accounting, tax, and you gain some foreign exchange, which is good for you, which is good for the country as well. June income make $2,500, right? You work as a freelancer and obtaining some income. So which is our sales. So let's assume you are doing a business. So $2,500. You got to make a convert $2,500. That will it make it sense? Okay, we must say sales culture. So it's a raw data, right? It's in the form of it's belong to numerical data category, right? Where you are not in a much position to make a good decision about that, just one figure. But if you take your last 5 months sales and calculate your biannual income or for the first 2 quarters or the first 6 months, then something that you can make some decision which is providing a good sort of an idea. So then I would say for the Jan you earn $1,800, right? And then $1,500, $2,000. So then you get here suddenly 4,000, right? And here 3,000. Right? So then you take all the figures and you say your first 6 month income. Right? So we have somewhere some figure. Right? Now this total value act as a information, then you can maybe predict about your next six months income. Surely. And after measuring you can calculate that 1,008. Let's see your total income here. Right, so 1,008 for Jan, and then you got 1,005, 2,000, 4,000, and 3,000, and finally 2,500. And order now 14,800. 14,800. Now, when the process data, the process just calculate all monthly sales. Calculating monthly sales is your process. Make Excel sheet automatically count right? Excel formula get the count. Now, input taker monthly sales, which is my data. Monthly sales, monthly sales, which belongs to the category of numerical data. Right? Example like monthly sales, which belongs to the category of numerical data. You see the data here, and I processed it because another word for information is process data. So here's my process. What is my process? Just get the total, getting the total 6 month sales. Calculating first 6 months sales. Or else I would say my first quarters. First quarter first 6 months. So here now it's processed. Add output take 14,800, which is a process date. Then decisions you have average monthly income 14,800 or 6 months. So divided by 6. Then 2,466. Right? Another process that you can do, calculating the average. Right? When average 14,800 divided by 6 around 2,466. Yes, 2,466.66. Average monthly income. Average monthly income dollars decision based on that, you can predict your next 6 months. Budgeting, forecasting, earn 2466 or 12 2466 high actual prediction. So somehow you'll be able to coming up to a 1. ඒ වගේම ඔයාගේ කවුරු හරි යාළුවෙක් එහෙම නැත්නම් වෙනත් business එකක information ඔයාලගේ තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ sales you can do a comparison. ඒ වගේම ඔයාලට බලන්න පුළුවන් by looking at here why I suddenly dropped. තවත් තියෙනවා ඔයාලට පුළුවන් මේකේ බලන්න minimum and maximum monthly sales. So here your minimum sales in Feb. So you can do some root cause analysis why. Maybe just startup or maybe අපි දන්නේ නැහැ හරි අපි assume කරමු මේක ගොඩක් කාලයක් ඉඳලා කරගෙන business එකක් නා. ඇයි මේ Feb වල මොකද උනේ නේද? මොකද උනේ කියලා අහන්න පුළුවන්. So මේක වගේ minimum sales. නැත්නම් අඩුම sales record වෙලා තියෙන්නේ month of February. එනවාට බලන්න ඇයි මොනවාද reason කියලා. නේද? ඔයාගේ මොනවාරි mistakes තිබුණාද? You can actually look into. ඒ වගේම ඔයාලට තියෙන 4000 උත් බලන්න 4000 can average එක කොච්චර above the ඉන්නවද? දැන් මෙතන 2500 කියලා ගත්තොත් average එකට 1005 earn කළා. Average plus $1005 you have earned, which is your maximum earning out of during this first 6 months. Your maximum sales. එහෙනම් ඔයාලට plan ඒ මාසෙ කොහොමද ඔයා වැඩ කරේ? මොනවාගේ strategies දා follow කරේ? කොහොමද මම $6000ක level එකකට ආවේ? එහෙනම් then you can think and then you can apply that thing to maybe coming months, July, August, September to increase your sales. Right? ඉතින් ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට බලන්න අපි total first 6 months sales ගත්තා. අපි average එක ගත්තා. අපි මෙතනින් ගත්තා minimum and maximum. තව මේකේ ගොඩක් දේවල් process කරන්න පුළුවන් නේද? Right? ඒ වගේම අපිට පුළුවන් the difference between average ඒ කියන්නේ මේකේ variance එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කිව්වොත් මම ඒක මෙතන පොඩ්ඩක් හදලා පෙන්නනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ average එකේ අපි කොච්චර deviate වෙලාද කියලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ average is something like this no. So 2466. මෙන්න මේ average එක අපි කොච්චර deviate වෙලාද ඉස්සරහට සහ පිටිපස්සට. For example මෙතන maximum 4000 මේ පැත්ත minimum 1005 නේද? අපි මේ 1005. එතන ඇයි එහෙම ලොකු gap එකක් ආවේ? average එකත් එක්ක compare කරන අඩුම සහ වැඩිම sales නේද? මේ පැත්තේ හරි මම ඒක වල වෙනම mention කරන්න. Right, so I'll take somewhere here. So I would say some variance analysis. මොකද ඔයගේ variance analysis එක ඔයගේ ගන්නවා average එක. මේ average එකට ඔය කොච්චරක් difference එකක් තියනද? ඔයගේ minimum sales 1008 සහ මේ පැත්තෙන් තියෙනවා $4000. ඒ කියන්නේ එක month එකක අපි එතන නිකන් difference එක ගමු. 4000 month. I'm here trying to give you some practical insight. 2466. And here are another 1534. එහෙනම් ඔයා එක month එක ඔයා පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙනවා average එකට වඩා 1005 plus earn කරන්න. හැබැයි තවත් month එකක මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? 246 is minus 1005. ඒ කියන්නේ average එකට වඩා almost $1000 අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා, which is 966. එහෙනම් ඇයි එහෙම වුනේ? මොකක්ද reason එක? ඒ ওই විදිහට අපිට ගොඩාක් දේවල් process කරන්න පුළුවන්. මම මේ කීපයක් විතර explain කරේ. So here you are doing a process. එහෙනම් මේ තියෙන process data. මොන හරි දෙයකට මේක apply කරලා formula එකක්, equation එකක්, or just a calculation, or somehow you have done something to these raw data or the unprocessed data. Right? Here's the things you have done. Calculate the first 6 months, calculate the average, the some variance analysis, minimum and maximum recognitions, and then process data. I think simply it's all about process data, which is understandable to make decisions about the present and future about your organization. Now what I want you to do, will you be able to get this snapshot? in your book, please, right? So then you'll be able to practically see. Now, when you input process output, input data, example, monthly sales in a business. That's our example, right? Monthly sales of a business. And here the first 6 months of year 2022. Right, guys, shall I give you like another 2 minutes? Just let me know if you have any concerns. Right, so just to give you some practical insight, අපි ගත්තා organization එකක last 6 months data අපි start කරේ මෙතනින් නේද? එක month එකක දීලා තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම data එකක්. ඒකෙන් අපිට ඒක month එකක sales දැනගෙන ඔයාගේ current month එකේ sales 2500 ඒක දැනගෙන ඔයාට මොනවද ඔයාට පුළුවන්ද මේ data විතර එක දැනගෙන average එක calculate කරන්න පුළුවන්ද total එක ගන්න පුළුවන්ද අපි මේ කතා කරපු දේවල් එකක්වත් ඔයාට process කරන්න බෑ by just knowing sales of one particular month එක මාසික sales තිබුණා කියලා ඔයාට මේ මොනවද කරන්න බෑ හැබැයි when you have the past 6 months data then only you can do something that you do some changes and then you'll be able to come to a set of information. Now based on the information you can get so many decisions about the future of your business. It has been a කතාව හරිය වගේම එහෙනම් හොඳ prediction එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් වගේ next 6 months මොන වගේ වේද කියලා. එහෙනම් මේ data type එක අපි ගත්තේ numerical type එක. Numerical data තමයි මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. now මෙන්න process එක. Here output or the process data or the information. දැන් මේ තියෙන අර fuel crisis එකකට දීලා තියෙන solution එක මොනවද? ICT solution එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. Introduction of this QR code. නේද? එතනින් මොනවද වෙන්නේ? එතනක් ඉතින් numerical data එකක් input කරගන්නවා නේද? vehicle number, chassis number කියලා scan කරලා අරගෙන එකකින් record maintain කරනවා. කොච්චරක් fuel up කරාද කියලා. එහෙනම් දැන් decisions ගන්න පුළුවන්. මෙන්න මේ vehicle එක මෙච්චර fuel up කරලා තිනවා. යාට ලැබෙන්නේ ආයේ card එක exit or fully used. So likewise, try to so you can manage a situation by having latest information. Right. But very first time when you try to implement, you will come across a lot of difficulties because it's not that much easy, especially a large scale project like this. Well, so I think time is enough for that, and let's move to the tune. And we have an explanation here about information. The process data which is understandable is called information. Yes, so it's understandable, as you can see. This is something understandable. Total 6 months. The first 6 months sales average. Yes, this stuff. And just having this number, it's not something understandable. So here you have example. Net profit ratio of a business. So we calculate about ratios. So your profit before tax, your net profit before tax divided by your sales. And now it's give you a sort of a good information. Says a percentage. Sales cost of a unit, which is the unit cost of a product. Yes, an annual total electricity. Now, just knowing the electricity bill for the month of May, it doesn't make any sense. By looking at the total electricity bill, then you can come to a conclusion. And also the total production. So those are all stuff when you come to the information. And we have some sort of differences between data and information, which is one of a common question in this area. Now let me share my screen for that. Could you please write the differences between data and information? Well, yes, data is an input that we have discussed that one. And the data කියන එක ආවේ input කියන එකට. එහෙනම් data input වෙද්දී ඔයාගේ information තමයි output එක. You can see here, right? Output is your information or the process data. නම් මෙන්න එක difference එකක් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. Data is an input, information is an output. Data cannot be used directly to make a decision. Yes, just knowing your monthly electricity bill, you cannot make a decision. මේ මාසේ තව පොඩ්ඩක් consumption අඩු කරනවාද කියන එක ගැන decision එකක් ගන්න බෑ. Just knowing the 1 month sale, you cannot make a decision. But here, information or the process data can be directly to, directly use, or can be used directly to make decisions. Yes. And data are no value until they are in the form of data. Yes. So you keep, when you keep the data as it is forever, it doesn't contain any value. In order to make value for those, do a value addition, you need to convert to an information, right? So manually or through a system, then only a value will contain. So a value contains information. You can apply information having a valuable killer. Valuable information. Sometimes we thanks for providing that valuable information. So then that's something. Now, for example, you can say, thank you, central bank, for providing that valuable information. But there is a question whether they actually provide the correct information, because we have come across such a situation where the real ground level, numbers are, varied with what they have provided in some years for some cases. So, but that need to be investigated. But somehow, but giving the correct set of information, it contains a good value addition for our decision making. Okay, so will you be able to write the difference, please? Yes, guys. So there is a small change to be done. Yes, the data no value until they are in the form of information, right? Yes. So until it become information, there is no value. Could you please change that? There is no value until it convert to information. Information will convert උනාට පස්සේ තමයි value එකක් add වෙන්නේ. නැත්නම් ඔයාලට මෙහෙම දෙයක් ගන්න data no value as long as it's in the form of data. නේද? ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් ඒ විදිහට ලියන්න අවශ්‍ය නම් data are no value as long as they are in the form of data. එහෙම නැත්නම් there are no value until they are in the form of information. And a value contains in the information, yes. Well, so with that we have this process, which is our input-output process. So let's take that as well, which is the way of converting data into information through the data processing process. Well, so let's see that. So we do have the data, and there's a processing, and then information. We make up it for the flow chart එකක්. Not only for business information, අපි මේක converting process එකකට මතකයට input, process, output කියලා කතා කරා. The business resources, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, time, knowledge, that we included as the data, and the converting process or the business activities will be happening, and then final output, which is our goods and services. But here we talk about data, and you'll be processing data and you'll be receiving information as your output. Shall we take this as well, please? The way of converting data into information. Right, now there are few things about the processing function, right? So how do you process it? Or you just calculate, sometimes you just summarize, or some you can classify. Well, so what sort of a process that we'll be doing, we'll discuss next. So sometimes the data what we do, we just classify it. I know classify all the expenses. There are expenses classified in a financial statement. You classify. You classify the admin expenses, distribution expenses, financial expenses, other. In an expense set of expenses, set of transaction, you classify. Here was information about the data about assets. Assets set debtors in motor vehicles, distribution vehicles, office equipment, machinery. Then now I can classify. Current assets. So assets below 1 year, right? In our debtors, cash, right? Stocks, I know order. Decision value of current assets and the information by just classifying it. Total value of NCA, which is a non-current asset, because we classify. It was economic activities data collect karna kila. I think it's a classification after agricultural sector contribution. So you classify agriculture related data. Then you classify as industrial related. Then you classify as service related. So by classifying data අපිට classify කරලා පුළුවන් process කරන්න information විදිහට. දැන් අපි තමු in business studies classify singular medium students, English medium students, and we can classify based on the year that they'll be facing the exam. 2020 level, 2023, and 2024 batch එකකුත් තියෙනවා. So then somewhat we can classify. Got it? So you get the information and මම ගන්නවා total student names list එක. And the total student name list එක අර මම classify කරනවා. 22, 23, 24. Likewise, then total count of 22 students, total count of 23. So then I'll be able to come up to making a decision out of that by just classifying. First one, few function, just write the function, that's all I need. Here, classifying. So one thing you can do, classifying. Categorizing the data based on their features. It could be any feature which will be picked it up, and so then based on that you classify. Then you can sort it. How? Arrange the data in a specific order. සමහර අපි ගන්නනේ alphabetical order එකට අපිට පුළුවන් arrange කරන්න data. එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙතන පුළුවන් නේද මට data sort කරන්න. කොහොමද sort කරන්න පුළුවන්? මට පුළුවන් මෙතන අඩුම sales value එකේ ඉඳලා වැඩිම sales value එකට data sort කරන්න. You know, starting from 1005, 1008, 2, 3, 2 to 5, 3, 4. I'll just sort it. So then I'll be getting a specific order. So I'll be able to take a decision. Now make a matter convert graph. So it will look like this, something like this, right? Maybe there, you can sort it. Could be the alphabet order, it could be from the minimum value to the maximum value. So just use it. And then you can calculate it. Subjecting data into a mathematical or rational process. So here what I did was just calculating. Here I calculated first 6 months sales 14,800. Just a calculation. I then calculated the average. I calculated some variances. So it's about that, you are calculating. So you're calculating data as one of the process. Then what you can do, then you can summarize it. Presenting data briefly in order to get some idea. So then you summarize the fact that, maybe as a percent, for example, by saying your net profit ratio is just a summary, right? 10%. So it shows a lot of information about the business. Your net profit ratio is 10%. So which we have summarized the data. Now, for example, that sometime in cricket or in a test match, let's say they are saying the test average. So the average marks they have obtained in one single innings. Like that. So just form of summarizing everything. For example, just presenting the per capita income. So which they have summarized information. So by summarizing, you'll be able to do some converting process. Information එළියට එනවා. හරි එහෙනම් මෙන්න මේකත් අහන්න පුළුවන්. මම කියවර හතරක් අහනවා කියලා මොනවද? Question number 41 to 50. Well, so could be checked. හරි අපි ඒකත් highlight කරගමු. Please can we write only the functions? You can classify it, you can sort it, you can calculate, or you can summarize. Well, now shall we move to some data processing technology. මෙන්න data processing technology සුත් අපිට හතරක් ගැන කතා කරන්න ඉතින් මේ lesson එක වල ගොඩක්ම පේනවා short answers සමනකලා ලොකු chance එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා. හරිනම් මම මුලින්ම කිව්වා manually අපිට පුළුවන් මේ data process කරන්න. manual files maintain කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට පුළුවන් මේ semi electronic systems වලට යන්න. right? ඉතින් අපි බලමු කොහොමද මේ data processing technologies වලට යන්න. right? So first one, we have a manual system. So shall we write a subtopic, data processing technology? So we'll be talking about 4 technologies starting from manual to semi-manual, electromechanical, and electronic system. Data processing technology, 4 types. We do have manual system, could be semi-manual, electromechanical system, and electronic system. Now let's see what those 4 technologies. හරියනම් අපි දැන් මෙහෙම දෙයක් කෙනෙක් අහන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේ information technology කියන්නේ මේ computers දැන් when you talk about data and information computers එන්න කලින් මිනිස්සු information and data use කරලා තියෙනවා. It's obvious. එහෙනම් කවුරුහරි හිතන්නේ මේ information ගැන කතා කරන්නේ මේ computers ආපු නිසා කියලා නෑ එහෙම. මේ ඉස්සෙල්ලාම අපි දැනුවත් හෝ නැදනුවත්, right? So we have been using data and information from the as far as there's a history for records, right? History records. But make ගොඩක් accurate to now when we started using computers or the digital technology. So the data more accurate to now. Then example like this බලන්න. Then when I'm watching a cricket match, the cricket match it's all about data. It's all about data and information. දැන් බලන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ system එක කොච්චර advanced වෙන්න ඕනේද? දැන් සමහර records තියෙනවා. ඒක නමුතොම්ද records. Like ළඟ තිබ්බා කොහොමද 5 wickets. කියන්නේ first match එකකදී 5 wickets innings දෙකටම ගත්ත කී දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද? ඒතර ඒ ඔක්කොම sort කරලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් සාමාන්‍ය එක player කෙනෙක් ඉද්දී ඒකේ කියන්නේ එයාගේ number of test matches, number of matches played. ඒකේ දැන් formats තියෙනවා නේද? test, T20, ODI. අපි ODI ගමුනේ. the ODI number of matches. ඉතින් ඒකේ average එක පේනවා. කොච්චර tons ගාලා නැත්තම් centuries, half centuries, maximum වැඩිම ලකුණු ප්‍රමාණය, average එක, strike rate. I think කොච්චර information process කරලාද කියන එක පැහැදිලි. So it's really good and we have accurate, it's still updating all the time. Correct? පැහැදිලි කතාවක් හරි. ඒ නිසා systems එන්න කලින් අනිවාර්යෙන් informations data අපි use කරලා තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් manually අපිට පුළුවන් මේ හැමදේම record කරලා ගියා. දැන් අපි පටන් ගත්තොත් accounting start කරේ manual වලින්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි කියන ledger book කියලා. It's a ledger. ඒක ලොකු book එකක් ආයේ accounts ඔක්කොම තියෙන තැනනේ. එහෙනම් ඒක ඉස්සර අපි කියන manually. But instead today we use accounting softwares including these Excel and everything. So but we do not now manually record and file. So these are sales file, not like that. අපි ඒකේ system එකෙන් process කරලා printouts ගන්න පුළුවන්. That's a different scenario. But we do not manually. දැන් කොයිවත් organization එකක ඔයගොල්ලෝ accounting වල හදනවාගේ statements rule කරලා sales එහෙම හදන්නේ නැහැ. So automatically they somehow do it. Right. එහෙනම් අපි start කරනවා manual system එකකින්. So this is about manually you do the process. The converting process you'll be doing it manually. So arranging of data using stationaries, this is basically some stationary work stuff. Now can we write these guys please, which will be highlighted? Manual system, arranging of data using stations such as pen, pencil, papers and files. දැන් ඒ ගැන ඇත්තටම දැන් අපි බලන්න අපි file කියන වචනේ file එක කියන වචනේ අපි කිව්වොත් ඉන්නයි සිංහල what is file I'm not sure. එතකොට දැන් අපි computer වලත් use කරන file කියලා. අපි කියන word file එක, excel file එක, So likewise. then අපි file කරන අපි manually මම කියවගේ information manual file එකක දානවා වගේම තමයි computer එකේ file එකක save වෙනවා. So we can open a new folder and we can rename it by your name. So that is your file. But in the electronic format. But here people were used to have this set of manual system. So guys, can we write this which I highlighted in yellow color? Arranging data using stations. So that's about manual system. Now, pen, pencil, papers, files use karala may data manually hadala තියෙනවා. Now, data processing equipments මොනවාද? pen, pencil, stationeries තමයි ඔයගේ equipments ටික තිබිලා තියෙන්නේ. පැහැදිලිද කතාව? හරි. එහෙනම් අපි යනවා semi manual එකේ ඔයා ලියන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Explanation එක I have already provided that. What you need to write the data processing equipment example, something like a typewriter. මොකද්ද මේ semi manual කියලා කියන්නේ? Semi manual කියන්නේ the process of data using a primary level data processing machine. ඒක හරියම primary machine එකක් එක්ක ආගේ manual label නැත්නම් labor and the data processing equipment. හැබැයි මේ equipment හරියම primary level එකක්. ඒක advanced digital display එකක්වත් එහෙම දෙයක් නැහැ. softwares මේක include වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරියම primary level machine එකක්. So what is this manual? Semi manual is all about primary level machine plus your manual labor. Primary level, you can write it, primary level machine plus labor. We would say semi-manual. The best example is the typewriter. I hope guys you have seen the typewriters. Even I have seen in my life, but I have never used or haven't seen it's using in a real life. But I can show you what is a typewriter. I think what actually the typewriter getting it's a kind, I think I can make it a part of the company. Now imagine, you know, the Word. I hope I'm pretty sure you have used Word. Then after the Word, lot of, I think, millions of options. Even totally covered process that so as far as I can say, maybe I know about like 10% of, maybe less than that. Word kina de api word ekak compare කරලා now I'll share this video with you guys, right? So about this a typewriter. So now imagine the situation or the in that era, so how they have processed information, right? So using a semi-manual system. It's like the kottu sound, right? Sound that way. හරි ඉතින් ඔන්න ඔගේ තමයි typewriter එක වෙන්නේ. දැන් හිතන්න නේද දැන් මට typewriter එකකින් ඔයගලන්ට use හදලා දෙන්න හිටියා නම් ඉතින් නේද අවුරුදු ගණනක් යයි. මම දන්නේ මේකේ මේ undo function එක තියෙනවද කියලා නේ type කරපු එකක් ඉතින් erase කරන්න මම දන්නේ මොකක්ද ඒකේ තියෙන option එක කියලා. එක්ක මම හිතන්නේ ඒකෙන් තනි අපි කියන්නේ single line එකකින් ඒ ඔක්කොම cut වෙනවාද කියන එක. එතකොට පේනවා paper එක ගත්තා නේද? paper එක මෙහෙම ලස්සනට නවලා ඒකට දානවා. ඊට පස්සේ type කරන ආපහු මෙයා කරතර ඒ කියන්නේ ආපහු එක line එකක් type කරා ඊළඟ එකට ගියා. ඉතින් ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට තමයි ඒ දවස්වල තිබුණේ ඔන්න අපි එකට කියන semi manual system එකක්. I'm not exactly sure ආට පුළුවන් නම් there's a good TV series called The Spy. සමහරවිට මේක අහලත් ඇති. The Spy කියලා මේක short TV series එකක්. The Spy වැඩිය ලොකු සීසන් එක සීසන් එක එපිසෝඩ් 6ක් 7ක් වගේ තියෙනවා මම The Spy කියලා මම දැන් ඒක බලලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒකේ ගොඩක් ඒක තියෙන true story එකක් ස්පයි කෙනෙක් ගැන 1950 60 කාලේ country I think from Israel and Palestine නේද ඔය දෙකේ ප්‍රශ්න තිබුණේ අර ඔය එහෙම ස්පයි කෙනෙක් විදිහට ඒ අන්න ඒ TV series එක ගොඩක් පෙන්නන ඒ කාලේ use කරපු technology ඒකුත් විශේෂයෙන්ම after the second world war ඒ කියන්නේ ගොඩක් මේ විදිහට semi manual system කොහොමද ටෙලිෆෝන් ටැප් කරන්න sound audio recording cameras pictures ගන්න විදිහ ඉතින් මේ විදිහට ස්කෑන් කරන දේවල් කියන්නේ ඒ කාලේ තිබ්බ ටෙක්නොලොජි ගැන ලොකු අයිඩියා එකක් දෙනවා ඒකේ පෙන්නන ඒ විදිහට ස්පයි කෙනෙක් විදිහට එයා කොහොමද ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් කලෙක්ට් කරන්නේ data අනිවාර්යෙන් එයා data කලෙක්ට් කරනවා ඒ කලෙක්ට් කරන data යාගේ සෙන්ට් එකට යවන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට යාගේ hidden cameras වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් scan කරලා නැත්නම් sound record කරලා so the duty basically is to collect data. එතකොට ඒ ඔක්කොම යන ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ සෙන්ට් එකට දෙලින් තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ data process කරලා decisions වලට එන්නේ කොහොමද ඉස්සරහට දැන් ඒකෙන් තේන ඉස්සරහට මරේ attack එකක් කරනවද war operation එකක් යනවද අන්න ඒ විදිහට ඒ සෙන්ට් එකේ data process කරනවා. ඉතින් ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට manual system අපි use කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේකේ ගොඩක් හරිම basic නැත්නම් prime යාට පේනවා මේ typewriter එක බැලුවොත් හරිම primary level machine එකක්. ඒතර ඒකයි අද computer එක බලන්න කොච්චර වෙනසක් තියෙනවද කියන එක. ඉතින් ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට තමයි අපේ semi manual එක start කරේ. Right, so let's write the example. I'll share it again. So only the example here you need to write, which is yes, processing of data using a primary level machine plus your manual labor. So just write the example, which is typewriter. So your data processing equipment is typewriter. So you only write to need what is highlighted in green color. Data processing equipment type. Well, electromechanical, and then we have finally electronic system. Right, බලන්න මොනවද electromechanical කියලා කියන්නේ? Processing of data using automated data processing machine like electronic typewriter. දැන් ඔය typewriter එකම ඊළඟට convert වෙනවා electronic විදිහට ආව ඒකේ පොඩි display එකක් එක්ක. ඒ කියන්නේ අදට තියෙන functions නෙමෙයි නමුත් අර basic typewriter එකට වඩා ටිකක් advanced version එකක් විදිහට ආවා. අන්න ඒකට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් which is this electromechanical system. Electromechanical system. Got it. So then we do have today's electronic system ඒවා ගැන ඔයාලට අමුතුවෙන් explain කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Right? So we do have these softwares and everything which is electronic. Right, so guys, I'm facing a hard attack actually right now. So even my this rechargeable light is not working. So what I do is, so let's continue with so let's continue with the next session. So just go through it and just refer the which is the soft copy which I have shared, and also keep me updated once you receive the set of tips and papers. Thank you guys joining, and today it's quite early that we are finishing, but let's try to cover what we missed. Yes, thank you, and see you with the next session.